after all, this, even though this is a fan fiction, but I'm just going off and ranting about this. But how can you get this effed up over a nightmare? But it is a fan fiction, and things can be made up, as in mine that I'm making, and I haven't told you about that. I don't think I did, but that'll be linked in the description. Okay, back to reading. Hello, boo. Rainbow Dash summoned what energy she had left to pull herself away from the river, before crawling towards the nearest tree and cowering in a muddy puddle, covering her eyes with her hooves. No, no, please go away. I did what you said last time. Just go away. Come again? The familiar voice sent a shiver down her spine. Rainbow looked up, her eyes glazed with tears, to see Applejack looking at her, her face contorted with a mixture of confusion and sadness. Rainbow could barely speak without the stinging pain in her throat cutting her off. Nothing. Rainbow Dash wheezed. She tried to compose herself. She was unable to stop looking back at the lake behind her. Applejack walked over to her. Rainbow Dash was paralyzed with fear. Not knowing what her sick mind was going to make her do, she closed her eyes as tight as she could, desperately trying to flush out the relentless voices screaming at her from within her fragile mind. No, don't. Applejack pulled Rainbow close to her and wrapped her in her arms around the blue Pegasus. Applejack then placed her right hoof on her head, gently stroking her colorful yet ruined mane. It's okay, sugar. Applejack sighed, tears still flowing from her eyes. It's okay to cry. Rainbow Dash... Doing my Applejack voice much? What a fail. Rainbow Dash felt calm. The voices ceased for the first time in months. She couldn't believe it. She could finally think with a clear mind, without the fear of the voices that usually plagued her thoughts. Overcome with joy as she wrapped her arms around Applejack and squeezed her tight. Hey, it's all right. I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash sobbed. I'm so sorry. Applejack cradled Rainbow's head in her arms, holding it firmly as she looked into her pained magenta eyes. Now listen, Rainbow, Applejack said with a stern voice. You absolutely have nothing to feel sorry for. It was some sick pony who took her life, not you. You remember that. Rainbow could barely look into the earth pony's eyes. The horrific combination of fear, anger, and unbearable guilt almost made the Rainbow scream right in her face. If only she knew. What would it do to herself if she realized that her best friend was a heartless killer? Heh. That's what she was trying to comfort the pony who took Pinky's life. Die, fly. Sorry, trying to kill a fly. It's really bothering me. Where was I? Oh, there it is. There, Rainbow. Wait, no, right here. But she didn't know. Rainbow just started grinding her teeth, trying to savor every last second of the temporary peace she was experiencing. There, Rainbow. Applejack patted her head gently. It's okay. I'll always be here for you. You hear me? I know how much Pinkie Pie meant to you. Consarne, she was my best friend too, and I'd be darned if I'm going to lose another one. I'm sorry. Rainbow Dash smiled. It had been a long time since she had last did that she had almost forgotten how to do. Applejack smiled back. Say sorry one more time and I'm gonna smack you. They both quietly laughed. Before slowly leaning into each other, they remained in a long embrace as the night slowly passed on. Chapter 2 completed. Okay. I'm trying to debate. Should I read you guys chapter 3 yet? One thing I do need to do is I need to add this to my One second. Let's know something on the cover. I just want to look at it real quick. Holy shit, that's badass. I saw Rainbow Dash in the picture. One second, just gotta do something real quick. I'll read chapter 3. Just gotta do something. Okay. Chapter 3, The Final Struggle. After the funeral, all ponies went through their separate ways, still mourning the loss of their irreplaceable friend. As the night slowly passed on, Rainbow Dash slowly walked back into her house in Cloudsdale, closing the door behind her with an audible bang. She stared blankly into the room, looking at all the pictures around her walls, joyful memories that she would never be able to experience again. She looked at all the souvenirs from her adventures, thinking back to all the happy times she had with her friends. On the table in front of her, she saw a small party hat from the Gummy's first birthday party. She picked it up and looked at it. The very first item itself seemed to be mocking her, forcing out the happiness she had felt when she was with Applejack, replacing it with unbearable guilt. That was it. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back, guys. Had to get a drink because the way I'm talking makes my tongue kind of dry. Drunk? Huh? What? Okay. I was here. Overwhelmed by the pure anger, she ripped the frilly hat in two. Before turning it to face her dining room, she began destroying her house, throwing pictures one by one off the wall, smashing up anything in sight. Her trophies, her record player, even her cherished signed Wonderbolts poster. Nothing was spared from her uncontrollable rage. Her rage carried her towards her bed. She started bucking any breakable object she could find. Kill. Just leave me alone. Go away. After flipping her large wooden bed across the room, she continued towards the large mirror that was adjacent to her window. She felt numb. She saw herself covered in her head to her hoof in splinters, bruises, cuts, and rashes. Her mane was tangled with shards of glass. Just then, something caught her eye, a slight tingle in her right hoof, confirming her thoughts. She lifted her hoof to see blood flowing freely from the open wound. There wasn't much, but it was enough to catch her attention. As the drop slowly trickled down and dropped onto the cloud floor, staining it bright red. She couldn't stop staring at it, mesmerized by the dark red contrast with normally pure white floor. Then a harsh epiphany finally dawned on her. Gotta get a drink. That's some damn good water. You. She pointed at herself in the mirror. She was talking to a different pony. No, I won't let you do this anymore. Rainbow jumped back and quickly grabbed a large piece of glass that had fallen from one of the broken picture frames. Tears started streaming from her eyes and sweat started to form on her brow. As she slowly edged the knife toward her stomach, she quickly whimpered, looking at herself in the mirror. You can't hurt anyone if you're dead. If I'm dead. Do it. Rainbow Dash jumped at the sudden command. Do it. She grasped the blade tightly, slowly pressing it harder and harder against her stomach. She openly sobbed as she tried everything to force the shard into her, but she couldn't will herself to do it. Do it, and every pony will know. It was true. The blade just pierced her hide. Before she dropped it and stared at the floor, watching the blood drip from the tiny wound. She started to gently giggle at the sight in front of her. Think of all your friends. Think of Scootaloo. Shut up. Think of what it would do to her tiny filly mind. Shut up. Nobody will be there to bury you. You'll be alone. All alone. Wow. It's actually turning out pretty good, and I probably shouldn't be reading this when I'm about to go to bed. That's probably going to give me nightmares. I just have that bad feeling because if I keep reading this, I'm probably going to get nightmares. Mommy, after this, I'm reading freaking My Little Dashie. Rainbow Dash let out a blood-curdling scream, shaking the house and its foundations. She began throwing herself against the walls, only to come crashing down against the floor. She felt so helpless, so alone. She fell to the floor, bowing into her rug. The tears flowed further and further as her sanity continually deteriorated. Please, leave me alone. My dogs are barking. When are they not? Wait. They haven't been barking through this whole video. I'm surprised they made it 26 minutes without barking throughout my video. All her energy was sapped from her body. She could barely move. Just leave me alone. I don't want to die. Rainbow Dash used what energy she had left to look up into her mirror. Quivering in fear, she could just about to force herself to look in the mirror. She looked just like she had at the lake. Her body covered in cuts and bruises, and her eyes so bloodshot they looked like red orbs. She couldn't fight anymore. She slowly crawled into the nearest corner of the room and curled into a cyan ball. Then she started to sing to herself as she once again started to laugh hysterically. The combination of guilt, anger, and hate, helplessness and sorrow was too much for her mind to cope. She soon found herself grinning, and the mind surrendered to the madness that consumed her. Slowly, minute by minute, she began to slip away, until eventually she was gone. Interesting. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I can do, one more chapter. And so far, this story is pretty good. I like it. It's just the gore that I don't like, but what can you do? Her fan fictions are fan fictions. I should have known what I was going into, especially by the looks of the title. Like, not the title, I mean the picture. You can tell that it's a bloody thing. And plus it's being a tragedy, sad and dark. You expect something not so good out of that, in my opinion. Actually, never mind. You don't really expect. Let's just get to reading. It was still nighttime at Sweet Apple Acres. Applejack was unable to sleep, still grieving over her. Wait, I forgot the chapter name. Chapter 4. One Must Bleed. It was still nighttime at Sweet Apple Acres. Applejack was unable to sleep, still grieving over her friend lost. She wouldn't be able to sleep for weeks. After brushing her mane and tears off her face, she walked out of her cottage, slowly making her way across the fields towards the barn. She took her time, slowly walking through the long grass, letting the long strands gently stroke her fur. At least she could feel something. By the time Applejack had made it to the barn, the sun had rose to the light, the colorful fields around her. However, the beautiful sunrise did not lighten up Applejack's world, which was still covered in a dark gray hue. Right now, all she wanted was to see Pinkie Pie bouncing towards her, greeting her